Most people screw that one moment up because they're ill-prepared. And it dawned on me, the things that I had identified, I overcame. And then from the research, I could do this for anybody. When I was 25 years old, I was making as much money as running sales as the 55 and 60-year-olds that I was sitting at the table with. And I was told by the owner of the company, hey, you make as much money as they do, so I can't pay you anymore. So I decided I wasn't going to have anybody cap or limit my ability to earn. So I sold everything I had, a brand new newborn and my baby girl, and decided I was going to become an entrepreneur because that way I could dictate what I could or couldn't earn. And that put me on my journey and obviously had some failures. I had to pick myself up, lick my wounds, great mentors, recalibrated what I was going to build. And then I was like, the real magnitude of entrepreneurialism is it went from me thinking about me and making money to me actually realizing in my second company, if I could engineer a company to do the things that I'm saying I would want to have that business do for me, it wouldn't just work for me, it would work for anybody that wanted to go build a business. And so I paid really careful attention to every single thing I did from launch in June of 2005, how I constructed the business, how I got it to self-fund it, how I negotiated contracts, everything. And then started doing a lot of research when we were killing it in 2009, 10, and 11, and the world was melting down, looking at thousands of different businesses. And it dawned on me, the things that I had identified, I overcame. And then from the research, I could do this for anybody. And it changed my position from I'm going to go build a business for me to I'm going to reinvent how small business is done and commit myself to working with the small business owner to grow scale and create massive value. Part of why I sold my business is one of my mentors said to me, I was going to do some project with John Maxwell and with Michael Gerber. And one of my mentors said, Brandon, the prototype for this is Audigy. And if you screw Audigy up because you're doing a bunch of other things, you'll lose all your credibility of everything you've worked on. So he said, well, you're saying you can create a massive valued business system. You should show that by actually selling your company for one of the highest values. And he sent me on that mission in 2014. And so by 2016, I had closed on that transaction, sold for 77 times EBITDA, one of the highest values ever paid, and then integrated to test our systems into a $1 billion company that we then grew to $4.5 billion in 36 months. So I was feeling really super strong about our research and about our science and about our technology and our resources. And I started over with Grant Cardone, and I told Grant, look, just trust me. We'll start this business, and in 60 months, I'll create a company from scratch with no invested capital, no debt, no paid-in capital. Entirely organically, I'll build a business in 60 months from zero to $125 million in revenue, making $35 to $40 million a year in profit, helping business owners grow scale, and we'll create a portfolio of billions of dollars of businesses we're helping that are in the 10X community. That was my sales pitch in 2019 to Grant. He had 4 or 5 other partners that said they could do stuff that have underperformed, and so he disengaged from them. I think he was more like, I've always wanted to do it. It seems well thought out. I certainly had more credibility than anybody that had ever approached him. And I was very thoughtful in how I presented it with Natalie, Tahi, and Elena. And we knew going into GrowthCon, we were looking for 5 very specific elements to know if we wanted to even approach them about partnering. And I was able to articulate, these were the things we were looking for. Here's where we can plug in and add value. Here's what I witnessed at GrowthCon. I've done business with you now, so I can go through, I've audited all the stuff you do. Here's a perfect complement to what you do that doesn't conflict. And here's where I see the market opportunity. And he was like, look, let's give it a try. If it works, I've always wanted to do it. Honestly, he told me his exact comment was, this sounds like bullshit, but it's something I've always wanted to do. And I've not met anybody like you that I believed we could do it. So let's put our heads down and see what we can create. And I was like, let's go. We're all in. Most people screw that one moment up because they're ill-prepared. And the one thing I tell all business owners, there's 10 elements to creating a high-valued business system. The one element that almost nobody deploys until they're big and they realize they have to, and the most important element is strategy. What specifically do you want to have happen when something happens? They don't think that through well enough, so they screw up the front end, and it precludes them from getting to the opportunity. So for me, I always start with, what do I want to have happen? What's in it for them? What's in it for me? And how do I craft that conversation so when the moment presents itself, I'm ready for it? And I think that's, most people don't prepare for that moment.